Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I have some more Fallout 76 news and information to share with everybody. So with that said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Now, our first piece of information we're going to look at actually comes from Twitter, and essentially when a user asked about personal storage inside Fallout 76, Pete Hines had a response. Now, if you are someone who watched yesterday's video, we actually went over this information yesterday. However, Pete Hines had posted some new information on the topic of personal storage and how it will work in Fallout 76. And I want to read the information from yesterday as well as the new information because I want everybody to kind of understand how the personal storage system will work inside Fallout 76, and I don't want to just give somebody just a little piece of it. If you guys understand my meaning, I want to make sure everybody knows how the personal storage will work inside Fallout 76, and I want to fully explain that to you guys. That way, you know, it's just not a little piece. So I know we're reading information from yesterday. I do apologize if you watched yesterday's video, but I'm doing this so everyone can have a full understanding on the storage system inside Fallout 76. So here we go. So this all started when somebody said, at DC Deacon, I'm very concerned with one thing with 76 I haven't seen answered. With my items, where can I store them? Is there containers or a house I can have that'll be static between all of my games so I can actually collect unique items and loot? To which Pete Hines says, we have answered that. Yes, you'll have your own stash. Now, it doesn't end there because the user goes on to say, will storing junk be stored the same way or have its own way? To which Pete Hines replies, whatever of yours you decide to store in it, it can contain all of the things. Now, now it doesn't end there. The user then says, so will everyone's stash be the exact same place? Hope not, because that could be camped with, say, turrets or something and won't be able to get my stuff. To which Pete Hines replies, you can have one in your camp, wherever you place it, and a number of them are spread around the world in various places. To which somebody says, is there a set limit to how much stuff we can have in our storage, or is that not factored into the player stash? To which Pete Hines says, store away, not aware of any limit. Now here is our new information about the personal storage. Somebody said, let's say I have multiple stashes, one in my personal camp and a few in designated areas throughout the world. Then I want to craft at my personal camp using all available resources. Do I need to collect all of my items together in my camp workbench to access all of my resources? To which Pete Hines says, you don't have multiple stashes. You have a single stash that can be accessed at any stash box you find, so you don't have to collect them all together. So essentially, this new information, what Pete Hines is saying, that if you have a container, let's say at your house, this is your container that's at your house, and here is your container that's away from your house. Whatever you put in this container that's away from your house will be in this container at your camp when you go back to access that container. Now, when you put stuff in this container here that's at your base, throughout the world at these, scattered outposts, these away stash boxes that aren't at your camp, the stuff will be in here as well. It'll kind of work like a bank where you could deposit items in one place and, go to another place and, make a withdrawal of those items. And I hope I explained that properly, and I'm pretty sure most of you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, it has already been confirmed by Pete Hines a long time ago. I went back and tried to find the tweet. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but Pete Hines did say that each player would get their own stash, which no other player could access. So do not worry about other players being able to access your stash, because it can't happen. Only you will be able to access your own personal stash. So don't worry about your belongings when you're using the personal stash inside Fallout 76. So yeah, that was an essential piece of information that came out the other day. I speculated that this is how it would work, but I didn't have any, solid information or proof. But now I do, and I'm reporting it for you guys. So yes, this new personal storage system, with this personal storage system inside Fallout 76, Like Pete Hines says, you have a single stash that can be accessed at any stash box you find. So whatever items you put a stash box into, if you go somewhere else, they'll be available in that stash box wherever these stash boxes are located around the world. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly explain fully the Fallout 76 personal storage just to avoid any confusion. First off, you will have your own personal storage inside Fallout 76, which no one else can access. There will not be a set limit to how much you could put inside this personal storage, so you could just store everything in there if you wanted to. These personal storages will be scattered not only at your camp where you decide to build one, but throughout the world of Fallout 76 as well. And like Pete Hines says, you have a single stash that can be accessed at any stash box you find. So whatever you put in one stash box will be in another stash box no matter where it is. Whether that be at your camp, away from your base, or wherever the stash box is located. If you put items into the stash box, they will be available at another stash box. So yeah, that is how the personal storage will completely work inside Fallout 76. And that pretty much covers everything about the personal storage and pretty much fully explains it with that new information we got from Pete Hines earlier today. So moving on to our next piece of information, also comes from Pete Hines in response to someone, and it gives us a little more information on the bounty system. So here we go. Somebody says, at DC Deacon, I don't know if this was asked yet, but someone who has a bounty on them, if you shoot them and they don't engage back, do you slap them or is it full damage? To which Pete Hines says, if you're a murderer and have a bounty, all bets are off. Anyone that wants to can engage with you / shoot you. So long story short, if you see someone with a bounty on their head, it's pretty much open season on them. You don't have to engage them in this PvP system, which Fallout 76 has, where you have to shoot the person to engage a challenge and they have to accept it. That's not going to work when somebody has a bounty on their head. If they have a bounty on their head, you could just straight up kill them without engaging them in the PvP system. And your damage will be full damage on them. Moving on to our next piece of information, this has to do with stress testing the servers. Somebody asked a really good question, which a lot of people were asking Pete Hines, and Pete Hines actually clarified when he answered this person's question on Twitter about stress testing the servers when it comes to Fallout 76. So here we go. Somebody says, at DC Deacon, will 24 people per server really be stress testing? Because it really doesn't seem like a whole lot of people per server in comparison to games like Ark or Rust, which would have something around 40 does 70 people per server. To which Pete Hines says, 24 people per server is how many you play with. Stress testing is about getting tons of people all trying to log in and play, but 24 is still how many you play with. So it looks like 24 people per server is the set number in Fallout 76, kind of permanently, even after the beta. However, keep in mind there will be more than 24 people online at any given time. There could be thousands of people online. Everyone will just be on a different server. So moving on to a very important question somebody asked about respawning inside Fallout 76, and this is kind of our first respawning information that we're getting from Pete Hines himself. So here we go. Somebody says, what happens when my character dies? I know we'll respawn, but where? To which Pete Hines says, you choose from locations on the map you have explored, like if you're fast traveling. So it looks like inside Fallout 76, when you die and you respawn, you could only respawn at a nearby location you have discovered. Like Pete Hines says, like if you're fast traveling. So if you don't discover a location for a while and you die somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and the last location you discovered is way back there, you're going to have to start, way back there at the last location or the nearest location you discovered. But I think it's pretty cool that you get to respawn at a nearby location rather than respawning at your base or your bed like we see in other online games. Anyways, guys, that's all the information I have for you today on Fallout 76. I know some of it was reiterated information, but Pete Hines did add to that personal information. Pete Hines did add to that information on personal storage inside Fallout 76, and I wanted to clarify that for you guys because that pretty much fully explains how the, personal storage system will work inside Fallout 76. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe as it really does help the channel grow. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching.